Space, the final frontier. Join us for a bold conversation. Our prime directive? To recap our favorite Star Trek shows, both new and old. To engage in debate about all things Trek. Prepare to energize with phasers set to stun.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Phasers Set to Stun. In this ongoing series from a Film by Podcast, we continue to show our love for every quadrant of the expanding Star Trek universe by covering television, animation, movies, directors, merchandise, and much more. Plotting the Chris as always is your core Trek crew. I'm Scott Hoffman.
I'm David Burns.
And I'm Wayne Whited.
And in this episode, we're happy to continue our coverage of Starfleet Academy. In this episode, we're up to episode 3, Vitus Reflux. Written by Alex Taub, Kylie Rossiter, and directed by Doug Araniokoski. Apologies if I got those wrong. It's my first time with these. But speaking of new, this is obviously fresh out of the phaser banks, so calling for a red alert on spoilers. If you haven't seen this latest episode, or actually this past week's episode, please go watch and come back to join us. All right, let's get right into it and break it down. Wayne, why don't you give a summary of this latest episode?
Cadet Darren Rainey tries to prove himself and competes with the equally driven Genesis, while tensions rise between the cadets and the rival War College through escalating pranks. Instructor Lyra Thok pushes the cadets hard, and when Chancellor Ake's guidance introduces them to the Vitus Reflux, a rare fungus sensitive to emotions. The rivalry intensifies when both schools fight for dominance in the elite Calica team trials, leading to a secret late-night match which fails after Darren's reckless leadership and Ake's stern intervention. After confiding in Jet Reno and confronting his strained family ties, Darren reconciles with Genesis and begins to understand the value of empathy and shared leadership.
Thanks, Wayne. I know that I have to catch up with first reactions to this, and I gotta say, Dave, in the last episode, your Hogwarts call was totally on point. I think it's exactly what Star Trek needs: new blood, new ideas with respect and reverence to those that come before it. I love the Voyager ties, even though I've not seen most of Voyager, but Robert Picardo brings it every single time. The little prodigy nods, the attitude, the heart, it all reminds me of things like Lower Decks, and I think it's what Star Trek needs. So I'm on board with both of you on that.
Yeah.
Also, the barefoot captain vibe.
The very casual captain vibe
Very
that she's got
casual.
going on.
Yes,
She sits in every seat like a cat claiming it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like Dumbledore in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Especially. And yeah, with the Calica game, reminded me a lot of Gryffindor versus Slytherin.
Yep.
So anybody who's a fan of that kind of idea and you're looking for a way into Star Trek, I would say this is the way to go. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even with the Vitus Reflux plant, that's like herbology in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the screaming plants. I mean, here this is with this repeating people, which I thought was hysterical. But I mean, yeah, this has got Harry Potter written all over it, and I'm here for it, man. Here for it.
Yeah. Wayne, what were your first thoughts on this latest episode? Does it hold up with the rest of you, the first two?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I really liked the episode. I think I liked the first two a little bit better, but, I'm not putting this down because I really did enjoy this episode. It's really gets into the look of the academy and the students, and I like that, especially the differences between the two colleges. I know David and I talked about, we were hoping that they would do more with the War College, and I'm glad they did. But a lot of humor here, but there's also that strong message, which I really like. It's just so different from Star Trek. It really is something very, very different than what we've seen before.
It's definitely a shock to the system for people who have been around Star Trek for 60 years.
Yeah.
It is a different take on it. And like Wayne, like you and I talked about last episode, it's what is needed. for this franchise to keep growing and make those changes. But I like the fact that we're with these young cadets, getting to know them, getting to watch them learn what, Starfleet is all about, getting to know what their specialties are. And, down the road, because, it's going to happen eventually, they're going to be caught in situations that they're going to have to put these experiences into play because the crap's going to hit the fan. And I can't wait to see that, because then you're really going to start seeing these characters growing and helping each other. Because, even though you've got this rivalry between the War College and the Academy, which is fun, and I'm glad that they're doing this, because, again, that brings a uniqueness to Star Trek. But, eventually they're going to have to help each other, without question.
Well, I mean, they're growing towards that. So, last two episodes, we saw the rivalry between each other in their own college. And they seem to, in this episode, come together and work very, very well together to go against the War College. And I like that growth, because we're seeing a lot of character growth in this series. And that's what it's perfect.
Yep.
Patience and growth, right?
Yeah.
Big thing. I mean, it's a, like, this episode, I think, was a good look at how, not with a lot of Star Trek, it's kind of like the weekly crisis, right? The big thing that could be, have big implications for a star system, if not the galaxy. But in this, it's really just about looking at those different facets of Starfleet, right? The learning and the exploration, they're getting into that a lot more, which is a perfect way to analyze it, but also to rebuild the Federation. Or rebuild, I guess, rebuilding both, right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody is excited to be there. I mean, Caleb seems like he's basically serving out his sentence until he's ready to leave. Raimi has very different ideas about what Starfleet should be. It almost seems like he's kind of maybe more fit for War College, at least in the beginning of this episode. But I think it's an interesting way to look at Starfleet Academy at a time when it's not everybody thinking that Starfleet is wonderful, not everybody thinking the Federation is perfect, but seeing the potential for it and wanting to build it into their own thing.
I think that's the unique twist on it right there. Back in the old days, which I guess we can say that now, back in the old days compared to where we're at with this.
The days of yore.
Yeah, but back then Starfleet was established. You knew what was going on. The Prime Directive. You had all of that stuff going on. And I'm not saying they're throwing Prime Directive out the door or anything like that, because we really haven't got to that point here in the Academy. But you definitely feel a different vibe going on with Starfleet. Yes, they're rebuilding, but you're definitely feeling, because they have got a war college now, which Starfleet back in the old days would not have that at all, because they didn't believe in that. Granted, it was a necessity at times, but they would have to, push themselves into that. That, at times they weren't prepared for it. But now they realize that that's something that they have to have. But I still don't think they're going to push that agenda, saying, hey, we're just going to be a warmongering organization. That's not the case. They still want peace and all that kind of thing, but they know that they have to have that sitting there. But one of the things that I love about this is the fact they realized how good Lower Decks worked with its comedy, with its characters, that they've pulled that into this. And you can definitely see the already development of these characters and the comedy between them is exactly what was in Lower Decks. So I'm glad they realized that was working, and that's what the fans want, and they're putting it in this too.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it a lot more attractive and approachable for a broader audience.
Yeah.
Right? And it also, takes the piss out of it a little bit, so that it's not having to treat everything so seriously and making somebody think that in order to get Star Trek, I need to start way back at OG, go through catalogs of everything just to be ready to watch this. You really don't. I mean, it would be beneficial if you did, but it's not really necessary. And I think that's one of the helpful things. And it doesn't seem like it's trying to reach into, hey, we did Kirk's grandson is here, or the latest generation of Spock, or anything else like that. There's little drips and drabs of it, but it doesn't lean into it too much.
Well, I think you hit the core of what they're trying to do with this series. I mean, there's a lot of stigma with Star Trek, and when it comes to new viewers. There's 60 years is a lot of stuff to take in, and if you look back at the other series, lots of continuity. New fans would be really tough getting into it, and I think they're still trying to make it so that us old time fans still love going and watching it.
Old timers, old timers,
old timers. Yeah, that's it. But they want to bring in the new audience, which they really need. Star Trek needs that bad, and I think they're succeeding. At least I hope they are. I don't know what the ratings are. Of course, they haven't announced those yet. But I mean, this series is so well constructed towards getting new viewers in. I hope that it does. I hope they're able to succeed with what they're trying to do.
Well, one thing is for sure is they're definitely loose with the language that Star Trek never used to have. I mean, just her throwing around shit like it's nothing. I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird to hear this in Star Trek, like it's common practice. You don't hear that a lot, but it is. It's in the dialect here, and I'm okay with it, to be honest with you, because it needs to catch up to the modern times, which is kind of funny. You're talking about a show that's well in the future, but anyway, that's besides the point. But another thing that I like that they did, and I know Lower Decks did it too, and I know I keep referring to Lower Decks, but it makes sense. The whole co-ed thing. I mean, they're all in the locker room, showers and stuff, and they're doing co-ed. That's something you wouldn't see in Star Trek either back in the days. And it works though here. Seeing Genesis barely dressed, which I'm okay with, by the way, but seeing her barely dressed, I mean, that's something you really wouldn't see. You would see that in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Yes, I know we saw that kind of thing. Right. But in a TV series for Star Trek, no way. But
there was a lot more skin this time, wasn't there? A lot more
there
skin
absolutely
showing.
Was. But it makes sense because you're dealing with young kids. I'm not young kids, but you're dealing with college age kids, and it just feels like it needs to happen, if that makes any kind of sense.
And I mean, it's I guess pun intended, it's kind of a dressing down of it. To say this is not Captain Picard had very refined kind of, approach to things, and everything had to be buttoned up. I think if it's so stiff, it's going to be hard for people to get into.
Oh, yeah.
It's very much more approachable now. And I think it's going to be helpful for younger viewers, especially, to want to get into it. But I think it's also helpful to say to current viewers, this is Star Trek moving into the future.
Yeah.
It's definitely given me a new look and outlook on Starfleet Academy. I think back to the time that when Wesley was in Starfleet. Boy, that had to have been boring. Compared to the fun that they're having in these episodes, that was a boring time.
Yep.
Well, it was probably a lot of not that there's anything wrong with it, but Shakespeare classes and symposiums on tea. Everything that was very highbrow, refined.
Yeah.
Not that this is lowbrow, but it's like it's not taking itself so seriously that it becomes just this unreachable kind of thing to a lot of people. I think the addition of is it Captain Ake?
Yeah. Okay. Nala.
Walking around with, foot coverings, but basically barefoot. And, that kind of feels like the kind of vibe and approach they're going for. Very relatable, very casual, still taking it seriously when it needs to be taken seriously, but just knowing that, these are kids and we're trying to build something here. And if we don't have them bought in, we're not going to have it.
I want to go back to another thing, Scott, that you mentioned that you felt like Nala was kind of like Dumbledore. I want to bring that back here for one thing, and that's when Nala and Thok were having that conversation in her office.
Yeah.
And, they basically had that understanding of her telling like a coded language to Thok of what she was doing. And if you weren't really listening to their dialogue, you weren't realizing that Nala was basically saying, I am going to help them beat the War College, but not let them know that I'm helping them. So that's exactly what Dumbledore does and did.
Yeah.
The same thing with the same thing with the I don't remember what it was, but the time thing that he gave Hermione. Remember?
Oh, the time turner. Yeah.
The time turner. It's the same thing. He's telling her not to use that, but go use it to make it work.
Right.
And she does the same thing here, giving the kids the tools, here, the plant, and putting the little seeds around and planting it in their heads so it looks like it's their idea. It was brilliant.
Yes, absolutely agree. Yeah, just that little bit of mischief, that little bit of whimsy that makes it still fun.
Yeah.
and makes it their idea. She's not giving them blueprints for it. She's saying like, there might be a reason, wink, wink, well, I told you all these things. There was the interesting little, Demolition Man moment with the replicated eyeball. That was kind of, that was kind of,
I thought that was pretty cool. That was a neat way of going around that little obstacle to come up with a solution like that.
What I thought you were going to bring up was the moment with Thok, where Thok talks about the reason that she did not go with Kelric.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of interesting depth in my opinion. Like the three reasons why she didn't. And I love Holly Hunter's portrayal here. She's like, well, what's the third reason? Like, she's got such a relatable, like just a tinge of a twang. I don't know. I think she's doing an amazing job. Love her, love Thok, love the entire cast. They're doing great.
There's so many characters that I love, and I tell you, we're only in the 3 episodes into this season, and like every episode, I'm like looking into these characters to find what are they going to do that makes me love them even more. And I'm telling you, Sam continues to grow on me. Like it's unbelievable how much she grows on me. The scene where she's like, where they're teaching them how to play Calica, and they're like, so like laser tag, right? And then it cuts to her like, it's not like laser tag.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much. Just the innocence of Sam continues to impress me, and how she's just exploring this world, exploring friends, and just, getting to know things for the first time. I love seeing it through her eyes. I really do.
Absolutely agree. I was skeptical about Sam's character. I was like, how is this going to go? Knowing that she's a photonic, right? Great idea to have this kind of character with Robert Picardo in tow, but he's kind of this reluctant mentor. He's like, oh no, we don't have to talk. It's okay. But her moment of that, saying like, this is not like laser tag, and then leaning into it and realizing, wait a second, I'm permeable.
Right.
I can be like Vision out there. This is what was I afraid of in the first place? She's that other end of the spectrum where you have Caleb, who's like, I will serve my time, and then GTFO. And she's like, no, this is amazing. Everything is amazing. I want to learn about everything. Yep. Yeah, you need that kind of enthusiasm. It's that she's the kind of the most youthful aspect of it. But she still kicks butt when she needs to. I just love it.
The only downside I would say about this episode is that I really miss seeing Robert Picardo.
Oh yeah, he would.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. We needed an episode that really developed the kids. We really did. They were not really kids; they're college age, I guess. But
right.
You know what I'm talking about. So I'm they needed to do that. So I understand why he's not in this episode, but I hope that they do an episode this season where he is central to the plot, maybe with Sam, so we can learn more about his character and maybe a little bit more about what had happened in the last 1,000 years or so, since 800 years. I want to hear more from him. We love him.
Yeah, absolutely, we do. Robert Picardo is awesome. So can we talk how awesome the phasers are that transports people?
Oh yeah,
in Calica.
Yeah.
Oh, the darn.
That's a setting.
Awesome. That was awesome. That's a setting, really?
That's a brilliant idea.
It is brilliant idea.
Well, that whole scene was incredible.
It was.
Yeah, it's really used to great effect. Like where are they in the atrium?
Yeah.
At that point, or the Arboretum atrium?
Yeah, when they're fighting the War College atrium. Yeah.
Yeah, that last idea that they had with the mascot fake out when it was Sam impersonating I also like the bigger message, because when we talk about like Captain Nala being a different kind of captain or chancellor, this whole episode about realizing that a captain isn't about being the best or about being perfect, and seeing Raimi's approach to that kind of reminded me of what's the character out of Spider-Man No Way Home? Is it Flash? Who's kind of like waiting around for his parents that never show up. So he has all these perfect ideas that have been set up by his parents, but he never hears from them, and he's always trying to chase their approval. He and Genesis being kind of different sides of the same coin. But her understanding that it's about being a leader, helping your team, and understanding your team. We heard a lot about empathy in some previous a series, I forget if it was Discovery or Strange New Worlds, one of the two, that lean into that, like understanding your team is the most important thing, not about being this perfect, can't be touched leader.
That was Strange New Worlds. That was really strong running through that series.
Yeah. So I love that they pulled that back through here. Aside from the fact that I think those jackets were amazing.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, I want one of those.
Really, really want one of those.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be available for sale.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. Soon to be available, yeah. So of all the crew members, we've talked about a lot that stood out, but which one, Wayne, let's start with you. Which one shined the most for you?
Well, it was really hard to pick between Raimi and Genesis because they're obviously the main players in this episode. But I'm actually going to go for Nala.
Okay.
It's just her subtle hints and the way she drops those things there. She's the one actually manipulating the students, pulling the strings to get them to do the right thing, learn the lessons. I thought that was brilliant. I think Holly Hunter is brilliant in this series. It's just great the relationship that she's developing with these students. So she's proving to be my favorite character in the series so far, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of really good characters here.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Dave, what about you?
I have to go with Remy on this one because he reminds me a lot of Steve from Stranger Things. He's being the jock and think he's always the leader until eventually he's put into place. He's coming to realize Genesis is a better leader and understands, and he does that. He finally comes to that realization in this episode and makes that step back. But I love the scene between the two of them when he confronts her and says, "Look, I'm going to be honest with you and open, and I'm going to tell you exactly that time where he was a kid and he was playing the instrument for his parents and he missed a note and they left before he was even done." Your heart really broke for him. But I feel like the way they're moving his character is, like I said, just like they did with Steve, how he's going to completely change and turn the opposite direction of what you're expecting. And that's what I hope they do, because that would make me like the character even more. And you can see that's happening already in this episode. So, I think he's shined the most, in my opinion. What about you, Scott?
Totally agree with both of yours. And I guess as kind of a... not an opposite side, but a flip side of that, I was going to pick Genesis because of her discussion with Raimi after they, figure out who is now captain, and he's kind of like, all right, yep, I screwed up, and so on and so forth. The way that she handled that afterward was the kind of leader that I think they need, somebody who is going to be accepting and say, like, yeah, I hear you. That doesn't mean that, you're totally out or that you're at the back of the ship or whatever. You've got something to learn just like all of us do. So let's get into this and figure out where we need to go. I think the dichotomy of those two characters is very, very clever. So yeah, I'd go with Genesis.
All three good choices for this episode.
Yeah,
seriously.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So similar question. Who would you want to be in this episode? Wayne?
Well, I chose Raimi. Because of the lessons learned, just how much fun he looks like. They're all having great fun at Starfleet Academy. But when he first appeared in the pilot, the first episode, I thought his character was just going to be your typical jock character. That's not really that important, just there to be an antagonist. To
be a bully,
do the wrong thing. The bully, that's the word I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like they were leading up to. But this episode proves that I was completely wrong about that character. And the way he finally does learn his lesson and hands over to Genesis was brilliant. Brilliant writing and brilliant acting. And I think I'm starting to really adhere to that character. So I chose him.
Dave, what about you?
So I'm flipping the table. So I know Wayne picked Nala for a character shine the most. I'm picking Nala to be the character that I want to be, because she's getting to show her leadership skills by having fun doing it, by doing it her way, no one else's way. Planting the seeds to the cadets will think it, making it think it's their own, but at the same time reliving her younger days through them. I mean. Yeah. Who doesn't want to do that? I mean, Scott, I'm sure you'd want to do that with your kids. See it through their eyes. You know, so Nala getting to do that with her students just makes me so happy, and to getting to see her to be relieved a little bit from the pressure she had in the first 2 episodes because of, especially the first episode, of what she did that put her retiring from Starfleet and that kind of thing, and her relationship with Caleb, which is still going strong, which I love, by the way, that they're continuing to do that he comes to her office and they still have that one-on-one. I love that, but I really feel like I would love to have been her character in this because of that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I think it's cool that Holly Hunter gets to walk around barefoot on set as much as she wants. For me, I think those are great answers. I leaned into Sam, having a lot of fun as a permeable photonic, like the mascot switcheroo, like I talked about before, out in the battlefield where a shot goes through her, and she's like, "There's nothing in the rule saying that I can't be permeable."
Right.
And when she goes kind of spritzing the Vitus under all the doors, she has that moment where she puts on this growling affect to her voice. Nobody's around to hear, but she just does it to be fun. Seems like she had a lot of fun in this one.
Yep, good choice.
So I want to call out a couple of Easter eggs that I noticed, and I know I want to toss it up to both of you because I know that it's especially Wayne's domain.
Eagle Eye Wayne.
Bunch.
It's Eagle Eye Wayne. He'll get him. He'll get it.
So drones and names are the only two things I wanted to get into. One, a question: were the drones meant to replicate the ones looking that we saw in Insurrection?
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm not sure if they intended it, but they are very similar. They do the same thing. Yeah. They kind of even look the same. So yeah,
it has to be.
I agree. I think it does.
Yeah,
especially with the transporter phasers, because they essentially did the same kind of thing. Kind of interesting. Also, some names I saw on the wall, and I'm sure that the interwebs have already plastered this up and down and sideways. But a couple that stood out to me: 2 writers. I saw Captain Peter David. I saw Admiral Tawny Newsom. And some names that I didn't want to see because of their ranks, and I don't know if it means something, but I saw Commander Pelia, Lieutenant Erica Ortegas, and Lieutenant Laan Nudian Singh. So please tell me that doesn't mean that they...
Oh, it does.
Damn it!
It has to.
I wrote the same thing.
No.
I wanted to bring attention to that too because, I have a feeling we're looking at possible hints to the future of some of these characters.
Yep.
I really do. That's a thought.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they move on to other things. I would just. I love those
they may not
characters so
die.
much. Right.
Yeah. Maybe that's just when they left. They left to go do better things or whatever. So we don't know. They
pulled a Nala and they're working at a preschool on Bajor. That's what they're doing.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Kim was an ensign for decades, and then he eventually became an admiral. So
So there you go. You never know.
Jump.
All right, Dave. Any Easter eggs pop
The
out to you?
only thing that I really caught was the tricorders that were sitting in the office and the ships. I know Wayne had mentioned that one in the previous episode that were sitting on the shelves behind Nala in her office. I know there was for the ships, there was the Galaxy, the Excelsior, an NX class Defiant, Oberth, and the Intrepid class ships were there. And then for the tricorders, I think there was a Universal Translator, a Discovery tricorder, and an Enterprise Universal Translator and Communicator were on her shelves. So I just thought those was it's kind of cool they're doing those nice little touches like that.
Yeah, and I did have to catch an NX-01 USS Enterprise as well in the models. This is probably, that shot in the office was probably the best shot we've had so far. So it was so easy to see all the different things. There was also an EVA helmet from Discovery as well.
I paused it. I was looking in the background. Ooh, what's back there?
Right. Well, it's so interesting. For me, because I grew up on Peter David's Incredible Hulk run. And Future Imperfect is just an absolute standout. And there's so many Maestro trophy room moments in this that I love because it's not hey everybody, here's an Easter egg. It's way out in your face, but you have to kind of pause and kind of check for it.
Exactly.
So Wayne, what else did we miss?
Well, I got 2 more that I want to add up, actually the first one I want to mention is that title card at the end of the episode that honored the late Carlo Mingiardi. She was a member of the costume department for Star Trek Discovery, and for some of the Star Trek Short Trek episodes, she served as the costume cutter for those series. Which, when the costume designer would make the pattern, they would cut the pieces of fabric out so that the costumes could be made. She also worked on American Gods and What We Do in the Shadows. She passed away back in September of 2024 after battling cancer. So it was really nice for them to dedicate this episode to her.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then also, I love the two mascot costumes. So let me point out those two species because I didn't really get into it in the last episode. First, we had the Mugatu. And they first appeared in the original series episode of Private Little War. And we're also seeing mating on top of that log that Boimler was hiding in on the Lower Decks episode, Mugatu Umatu, which is one of my favorite episodes. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. Now, the Laplings are a single Lapling, actually, was seen on the Next Generation episode, The Most Toys. But here it's described as a fuzzy, mean like a koala, and cute like a targ. I love that description. It fits it perfect from what we saw before.
Yep. Well,
I love the mascots. I think that was a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah,
all those
absolutely.
costumes were great. I thought that was fantastic.
Yep.
Well, who was it? Sadal? Was it Oakham that got recruited to be the mascot? And it was just like, well, you just fit the costume. And he was like, oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, yay! There was that Terma's brother, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I can't wait till the next episode. I think it's going in a great direction. I can't see where they go. I can't wait to see where they go next with it. And I hope that Paramount invests in continuing to lean into this direction.
Well, they've already renewed season 2.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's that's already happening. And Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong, but did I not hear a rumor somewhere that Star Trek fans are going to be ecstatic for episode 4?
Yes, that's what they're saying. It's especially people who are fans of Deep Space Nine. That's what.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find anything else
right.
about this next episode. Not even a title.
No, they're
I could not dig it out. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
these-
we're fresh off Deep Space Nine, so it should be a good payoff for that.
It does need some love because let's
It
admit
does.
it. Once Deep Space Nine was gone, the characters just disappeared. I mean, I know Lower Decks gave a little love, but the rest of Star Trek, come on now, let's give a little love to Deep Space Nine for crying out loud.
Agreed.
Well, I've got my fingers crossed for some kind of Cisco connection. So we'll see what happens.
Might be Quark. Who knows?
Oh yeah. It would be great to see Quark still running things.
Oh yeah.
For God's sake. Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you both as always. We'll be back for another episode next week. So, listeners, we hope you come back to join us. Hailing frequencies are always open for you to share your thoughts and questions on Facebook, Instagram, and your favorite social channels. Find us online at afilmbypodcast.com for our articles and episodes that stream for free. Don't forget about us on YouTube as well. Email us at afilmbypodcast@gmail.com. And if you're looking for more exclusive content and swag, send some Latinum our way through Patreon. We'll see you next time for Phasers Set to Stun.
I'm going to meditate on it.
What do you meditate on?
Decapitation.
Decapitation.